In Lesson 3-1, we're going to be writing verbal phrases and sentences as simple algebraic expressions and equations. So when we talk about algebraic expressions, that's when we have problems that do not have an equal sign. Like, for example, 3 plus a. We don't know what a is, so we can't solve the problem. Whereas in an equation, we actually have the expression equal to a certain value. For example, the same example we started with, 3 plus a equals 10. Now we can actually solve for the variable a, whereas in an expression, we're not sure what it's supposed to be equal to. For this problem, it says write the phrase $20 less the price of a movie ticket as an algebraic expression. So the word expression tells us we're not going to have an equal sign in this problem. What we want to do is underline key words and phrases in this problem. So right here it says $20, so we can write 20. The word less tells us that we should be using subtraction. And here it says price of a movie ticket. So if you wanted to, we can use a variable here. You can either use P, M, or T, whatever you choose. So I'm going to use P for price of a movie ticket. Now, we basically have all of our words identified as symbols or numbers or variables. So now we need to write our expression. $20, so 20, less the price of a movie ticket. So 20 minus P is the expression that we're looking for. In this one, it says write the phrase 5 more inches of snow than last year's snowfall. Again, we're writing an algebraic expression, so we know we're not going to have an equal sign. All right, keywords. 5. We can write the number 5. More tells us that we're going to add. The word then is a key word. Okay, I'm going to write a little side note out here. The word then actually tells us to flip the order of our numerical and variable values. So we'll see that in a second here. But whenever I see the word then, I'm going to make this little switch it symbol so that we know we have to change the order. And then for our other item, last year's snowfall. So I'm going to kind of underline year's snowfall. Okay, so I have the number 5. I know that we're adding. I need to switch the order of my items, and I'm talking about year's snowfall. We can use S for that variable. We'll just want to make sure that we know the difference between the S and the 5. So I know that I'm adding, and the word then tells me to switch the order. Well, in the sentence, 5 came first. Since I'm switching the order, I'm going to put 5 second. And S came at the end, so I'm going to actually put S at the beginning. So S plus 5 actually stands for 5 more than last year's snowfall. Since this is addition, and addition is commutative, it's not a huge deal that we get this in the right order, but we're going to want to practice that whenever we see the word then, we need to switch the order. Write the sentence, a number less 4 is 12 as an algebraic equation. Now we're talking about equations, so we know we're going to have an equal sign. Okay, so let's start identifying our numbers. It says a number. Well, I can use the variable n for number. The word less tells us to make a subtraction sign. 4, well, we can just write 4. Is, we're going to want to write an equal sign. And the number 12, we're going to want to write the number 12. Now, unlike the last problem, we don't have less than. It's just the word less. So we can actually keep everything right in order. So n minus 4 equals or is 12. And that would be your algebraic equation to represent this sentence. Write the sentence, 8 less than a number is 12 as an algebraic equation. All right, so let's start identifying our key points. 8, that's the number 8. Less tells us that we're going to subtract. Now I see I have the word then. Then tells us to switch the order or flip the order of our items. A number, we can use a variable n. Is, we can put equals, and 12. So I know it's going to be equal to 12. My question is it 8 minus n, or is it n minus 8? Well, we have an 8, we have subtract, we have a then that tells us to switch it, and then we have an n. So I'm going to actually put my n first because of that word then telling us to switch the order. So n minus 8 equals 12. Again, the key word here is that word then that tells us to switch the order. So we're going to make 8 the second number. Write the sentence. Twice a number is 18. So we have twice, which we know is 2, and the word twice kind of means we're multiplying. So 2 times, I'm going to go ahead and put that multiplication dot in there. A number, we can use n, is, we can say equals, and 18. So now we're going to say 2 times n equals 18. And actually, we don't need the dot in there. We can write it as 2n equals 18. You don't need to have the dot. So this here would actually be the correct way to write 2 times or twice a number is 18. Write the sentence, 4 times a number equals 96. This one's pretty straightforward. So we're still going to write it out though. 4 times, that means we're going to multiply, so I'll just put my multiplication dot symbol, so that way I don't confuse it with a variable x. A number, so we can put n, and if it says the word equals, that's kind of like is. Of course, we just write an equal sign and then 96. So I can write 4 times n so 4 times n equals 96. And the correct way to write that would be just 4n equals 96. An average American adult drinks more soft drinks than any other beverage each year. 3, so while I'm reading it, I'm going to start filling it in. So 3 times, okay, so I know I'm going to be multiplying, times the number, so that's n, 3 times the number of gallons of soft drinks plus, so I'm going to be adding 27, I'll just kind of circle that there, so that way I'm not getting all my numbers confused, is equal to the total number of gallons, which is 183. So let's kind of rewrite this here. We have 3 times the number n, okay, up here, 3 times the number n, so I'll just write 3n, the number of gallons of soft drinks, plus 27, so then we'll write plus 27 is equal to 183. So this one's a little bit longer, and we have 2 parts here, but if we just take notice as we read it, it says 3 times the number of gallons of soft drinks plus 27 is equal to the total of 183 gallons. For our last example problem here, we have a test example which you might see on the MCAs or the NWEAs, so this is a good one to practice. It says, which problem situation matches the equation? So this one says 4.9y equals 17.3. So we want to have some sort of multiplication here. So this one says after giving away 4.9. So giving away would be subtracting. So I wouldn't want to look at A for very long. The total length of 2 toy cars is 17.3 centimeters. One car is 4.9 centimeters long. What is Y, the length of the other car? Here, we're talking about adding 2 toy cars together and having that equal 17.3. But looking up here, we're not adding anything, so B is not a very good choice. Letter C. A chemist separated a solution into 4 equal quantities of 17.3 milliliters. What is Y, the amount of solution she began with? Well, whenever we're separating, usually what we think about is that we're dividing, kind of like you're separating a bag of candy to a class. Okay, so we're not dividing in this problem, we're actually multiplying. So let's try letter D. It's our last choice. Hopefully it is correct. Rodrigo spent $17.30, which we can write as 17.3 on fishing line. If each meter of line costs $4.90, what is Y, the total length of line? So if each meter was $4.90, we could take 4.9 times Y, which is the entire length, to give us the $17.3. So D here is our correct choice, not only because it does make sense, but because I think we've proven that we can eliminate all of the other choices. That brings us to the end of our lesson, 3-1. So you can go ahead and look on the Google Calendar to find your homework assignment and go ahead and get started. Be sure to pay attention to all those keywords: more, less. The word then is an important word because it tells us to switch the order. Is tells us that we will need to write an equal sign. And then sometimes they'll just say equals also.